our society has done the best it could to raise women, to raise girls, so that they can become better women and wives tomorrow. And then nobody does, little or nothing is done for the boy child, forgetting that these are the same boys who grow up into men and get to relate with or marry these women and then get to raise other boys and women. It is only what they have received that they would be able to pass on to the next generation, and it's been a problem over time.
Welcome to Akweya TV, the station that talks about history, art, culture, and how they relate to development. I am Idajo Aja. The 16th of May has been recognized as the World Day of the Boy Child since 2018, although there's still a little known fact in some region of India, North America, the Caribbean, and Africa. It is becoming more and more popular by the day. Dr. Jerome T. Loxin, a university lecturer from the Republic of Trinidad Tobago, who is well known for being the driving force behind the designation of November 19 as International Men's Day, founded the celebration. Today, on Akweya TV, we have the international administrator and curator of the Adams Project, Barrister Mary Umana. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Yeah, welcome. And then we have the team lead, mobilization and planning, Edem, ubong.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome to the show. The boy child. Like I said earlier before the show, for the first time, the boys, the men have advocates. So now, what is the inspiration behind this? What did you see?
For all of us in the Adams Project Africa, we have identified a problem that has eaten deep into our society, into our families, and it's been endemic over the years. And that problem is that the boy child has been neglected in his upbringing. When it comes to proper upbringing and grooming, we have identified that the girl child has received more over the years across Africa. The project is tailored to advocate for boys across Africa. That's why it's called the Adams Project Africa. Okay. So across the African continent, if you check, our society has done the best it could to raise women, to raise girls, so that they can become better women and wives tomorrow. And then nobody does, little or nothing is done for the boy child, forgetting that these are the same boys who grow up into men and get to relate with or marry these women and then get to raise other boys and women. It is only what they have received that they would be able to pass on to the next generation, and it's been a problem over time. He's been neglected in his upbringing and grooming. That's why we're here, to do the best we can to ensure that we provide solutions to such problems, and it's a collective effort. It's not just about us.
Okay. So now you a man with them.
Yeah, I know that it's still a surprise for a lot of people, seeing that a lady is championing this cause, and it's something we should it's a laudable cause, and we should applaud the women folks. The Adams Project Africa it's an innovation. It's an idea that has been there over time.
Okay.
But a lot of people still fashioned or tailored in that African idea of a man is not proper for a man to be loud or to cry over certain things or to complain about certain things. Yeah. Since we are tailored in that manner, it did not gain the popularity it should. So that's why we have added more effort by putting up these projects to see how we can propagate this information and get people to relate with the idea more.
Okay. I'm so happy about it that it is being championed by women and not men for themselves. You are with them. So how do you feel about it, being a man among them?
Well,
at least for now it is our turn.
Yes, it's our turn indeed. And what I appreciate the most about having women who are passionate about this project is that, okay, at least we've come to a time where women are not seeing themselves as the competition. They're not seeing the other gender as a competition.
Okay.
Rather, they are now looking forward to us having both genders complement each other so that we can achieve the necessary goals and the much sought after mental health and peace that homes need. So that's the take home for me.
Okay. So now let's get into the modus of operandi of how you want to do this. How do you, because it's about the parents too, parental upbringing. How do you seek to get the parents actively involved?
Okay, we
in the
have
program?
we have 3 or more people as our target audience, primarily the boy child, and then we have the parents, we have the caregivers, that includes educationists, that's the teachers,
Okay.
the mentors, the caregivers, whoever looks after the boy child that can, and whoever can exert some form of influence over the boy child, whoever can add to the boy child. So the person could be a parent or his teacher or his nanny. So we draw up strategies to reaching out to the boy child, because we know that the boy child do not even fend for themselves. They are in the care of some other people.
Okay.
So we go to the schools.
Okay.
There we have teachers who are also parents themselves, most of them.
Yeah.
So while we're talking with the boy child, the parents are hearing. We plan activities in host communities across Africa,
Okay.
where we gather together. We still in some places hope to bring in religious leaders, people who are in charge of churches, mosque, and every other places that the boy child and their parents gather. So all of those are strategies that we use: communities, schools, even streets.
Okay.
There are some people that the boy in the streets that the boy child listen to. Even the ones who hover the streets, they have other bearers that they listen to who can speak their language.
Yeah.
So we will try to devise strategies to go into that sphere, try to speak the language that we understand and carry these other people along. Like I said earlier, it is a collective effort.
Okay.
We just try to bring in other people who can help us drive home the point.
Okay.
So that's what we do.
So you are you mother to some boys?
Biologically, not yet,
Okay.
but I have plenty boys around me
Okay.
that
So
I'm raising
what
actively.
has been your experience with them?
Raising boys, it's been interesting. While it is easy for you to see yourself in a girl child, and it is very easy for a girl child to relate with what you're trying to tell her, because primarily because she believes you've passed through that lane before. So when you tell her something, it may be easy for her to understand. But boy child feels it happens every time. Mommy doesn't understand. Auntie doesn't. Auntie won't understand. You are not a man. You're not. So because he has grown up over time to the society, the school. In schools, he's been told you are a boy, you are a man, you are this.
Yeah.
So you coming as a woman to tell him, don't do like this. Do this other way. If you do like this is where it will land you.
It's
He will
strange.
feel this is strange. You don't understand. That is why we have men on our team. That's why we have men amongst us, because
Okay.
if it comes from a man who is actively walking the talk, he will know that, okay, it's fine. So for me, it's an amazing time, especially the people who I'm raising. I try to bridge the gap, bring them together, tell them, okay, what works for one can work for all. A
Okay.
behavior that one can learn can be learned by anybody,
Okay.
regardless of the gender and all of that. And then when a guy comes in, like in family settings where we have fathers, it makes more sense to the boy child when these teachings and techniques are applied by the fathers.
Okay. You know, recently I overheard a parent saying, "Thank God I don't have a gay child. I have just boys, and they are just easy to take care of." So what do you feel about that? What's the difference between raising a gay child and a boy child?
Okay, I believe that's someone that is still living in the stone age. Of a truth, raising a boy child is a bit more difficult. Because,
Is that so?
yes, because unlike the girl child who speaks up at every time she has any trouble, the boy child is naturally, instinctively known to be quiet and bottling up emotions. And by the time it gets to a point that it implodes, it becomes difficult to manage. So having a child that tells you at every time, okay, this is what I need, these are the problems I have, this happened, this did not happen, and having another one who is quiet at all times, I think the person who is quiet is more difficult to manage, because you need those informations to know how to tackle these problems.
Well, but people believe that maybe the quietness is because it doesn't have any problem.
Well, that's why we now have aggressive fathers who did not have the opportunity to actually share their fears and their problems. And having all these things bottled up, it's now imploding with the concept of using your fists to solve your problem, which shouldn't be the ideal approach.
So, Barrister, the Adams project has been on for a while now.
Yes.
For how long?
Unofficially, it's been there. I remember personally over some years ago, I've been thinking, okay, I have actively raised and advocated for women and girls, and they're becoming better. Since I was a teenager, I went into an organization where I was practically raised, and then here we are doing the best we can to get better. And then I asked myself, who is talking to the men? So unofficially, it's been there. And then I came in contact with our progenitor, who was already thinking, he's a man, who was already thinking and nursing the Adams Project Africa for a while too. And then he spoke with me. I told him, speak no more. This is actually
initiated by a man.
By a man, Mr. Ekbeno John Okot. So he is the progenitor. I am the international curator who tries to speak English across Africa about this project. So, and then I told him, okay, I've actually been looking for somebody who can speak for the man, but then I am here doing the talking in the Adams Project Africa. I still want a man to be doing this more than I do. But then because it's been there unofficially for a while, and officially we launched out in 2021. In 2021, and at the moment we are present in more than 13 states in Nigeria and more than 6 African countries. More are popping up every day. As of yesterday, even some states in Nigeria that we didn't have a presence, Benue State, Ondo, Ibadan, are popping up. Volunteers are popping up to help. They've seen the need to talk for the boy child, to encourage the boy child to become better. And we are glad that we have this reception. We are glad that we've been able to get people to think in this direction. It means our society will indeed get better.
So any testimony or success story so far of a particular contact that you have had since inception?
Yes, the primary success story that I will say till tomorrow is the fact that when we have conversations like this and people get to say it's true, getting people to be aware, to accept the fact that the boy child has been neglected over time, and because he's been neglected, this is the reason we are where we are. This is the reason we have the crop of fathers and the teachers.
I'm actually getting to know this for the first time.
So that is it will always be our primary success story, that we have gotten even men themselves to come to say, please, I am interested. How do I get involved? So it is a present, continuous success story for us. And then another success story for us is the fact that we've been able to unveil, because we don't believe that in the society, virtually every man is bad. We have been able to identify in all our locations, the places we have our presence, we've been able to identify some men who have, despite the improper upbringing they have received, improper notions that the society had sold to them, some men have been able to blaze their way through the trail. They've been able to shape themselves, because it's not everything you learn at home. There are some people who have sat themselves down. They were their counselors. They were their advisors. They just thought to themselves, I can get better. So we've identified such men in our societies that we call them model men. Model men who can mentor, or who are actively mentoring the next generation, whom we can point the boy child to. We could just say, okay, this is this man. This is how he lives his life. Can you learn from this man? Pattern your life after this man. If you live like him, your life will get better. That's another success story for us. We have them in Uyo, in Kaduna, in other places.
It's okay.
That's a success story for us.
And I believe that more success will be achieved today.
Yes, absolutely.
Because many more people will believe that it is easier or harder to raise a boy child,
Yes.
like you said.
Mhm.
I'm not fully convinced yet.
Okay.
And then when we return from the break, we'll talk more about it. Let's go for a short break.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Hey, what's up, people? My name is Solomon Lange, and you're watching Akweya TV. God bless you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ochaya Ojofu. I am the founder Akweya Children Carnival. Watch Akweya TV.
Ye masni ame Veronica Ochido. Engaga ya Akweya TV.
Welcome back. We're talking about the Adams Project and the International Day of the Boy Child coming up on the 16th of May. And before we went to that short break, we've heard about the success story, trying to convince more people that there's a need to actually take care of the boy child and nurture them and bring them up just like other people do for the girl child. And I think that many more people need that conviction for that success to increase. Like he said,
Yes.
and I was saying that I'm not yet fully convinced. But say one more thing about that.
Okay. So I'll use myself as a practical example.
Okay.
I grew up in a community or in an environment where cultism was a trend. If at 12 you don't have a color of family you identify with, you are seen as the Jew man, in quotes. Okay. If you encounter problems outside, maybe some sort of intimidation or whatsoever, with people of your age bracket, and you come home to talk about it, even the people at home see you as a weakling. I come out there, your mates, you understand. So it tends to push us to that corner where we just try to survive on our own.
But that's
so
what people see as the training for the boy child.
Which is the wrongest of notions. I don't know if there's a word like wrongest, but I'm excused to use that. It is very wrong. If you don't have the opportunity to express some certain emotions, it gets to you in a very bad way. Okay. So having a silent or a quiet child, be it female or male, is actually a problem, because if you cannot address that person's immediate need or problems at the time, it might culminate to something bigger than what we are seeing. So raising a boy child is a bit more difficult. Let me not say difficult.
So let's leave it there. So now we know that there's no success story without any challenges, particularly because you're in a space that is not so regular in the NGO sector, the boy child. How do you canvass for the necessary support that you need?
We do the best we can to reach out to people who can help. First of all, the men.
Okay.
I need to say that we need more men to step into this boat and sound their gong. Okay. There is a limit to what a woman or women can do for the boy child. Yes, it is good to have mothers on board, but we need fathers to be more intentional in raising their boy child. So this support, we need support of men. It is not enough to say, okay, finally it is our turn. Yeah. No, now somebody is speaking for us. We need you to step in and then practically voice your opinion, lend your support.
If someone or the government say, what can they do for you now? What do you think? What are your needs?
Yes, I was coming to that, because this project cuts across Africa. Apart from having the human resource, the men and the other volunteers come on board, we need to reach out to the boy child across Africa. We need funding.
Okay.
We need funding to execute projects everywhere. We hope to organize boys conference. We call it model conference, where we bring boys and men together to the table to interact. It takes money to execute such across the 6 to 10 locations that we have in Africa. And then we need for us to practically interact with these boys on the streets. You cannot sit those children down to talk with them if you don't go with something. There has to be something you go to them with. Maybe like foodstuff, maybe like clothing. Some of them do not even have shelter. They are not in schools. We need to take them off the street, put them in a shelter where we can give them proper upbringing and grooming, bring in mentors, provide them with skills acquisition programs where they can get better as they go. They have skills, they have something they can fend for themselves with. They're already open to career opportunities. It takes funding to do all of those things. It takes money to give a boy child a proper mental orientation. So everything boils down to money, funding, and we need a voice beyond Nigeria, beyond Africa, because the boy child has to get better if we must have a better society that we all clamor for.
So you're looking at the boy child from the cradle to what age?
From age 7. From 7 to 20.
Okay.
We believe that by 20, we've already lost them.
Oh.
They're already adults. They won't even listen to you. They may not be breakable at that point.
You don't tell me what to do.
They're already adults, especially if they are not in Nigeria. Now that many people are going to the other countries to seek education, to gain educational advantage, by the time they get there, they're not listening to you anymore. And their rights are protected by maybe laws over there.
So we are beyond training now.
Well, for some people who are not eclectic, they are not open-minded to new things and new trainings. But for the African man, at 20, it's gone.
There is a limit to what he can receive. There is.
Okay. Just have to be a man. That's what they tell us.
Yes, man up.
Man up.
No, they talk like woman.
Okay, so now what are your projections moving forward for this project? Before we talk about the day properly.
Okay.
So
our projections to achieve this, and we are putting out empowerment programs.
Okay.
And when I say empowerment programs, a lot of people misconstrue the idea of empowerment. They just feel it's give them money and send them forth to go and do something. No, it's also building up someone's political, social, educational, religious, emotional, and other mental capacity to strengthen it. So we have a lot of programs lined up.
Okay.
We have symposias. We intend to bring in a lot of partnerships using other sectors like the entertainment industries and other media to see how we can pass this message through. And also mentorship programs too.
Okay.
Because like she rightly said, you can't have someone who has not passed through the same experience speaking to someone who is having a particular problem. You can't get the results that you so desire. So we have mentorship programs lined up, and we intend to get a lot of mentors on board.
Okay. Do you have any plan for the boys on the streets?
Yes.
Okay.
Like she earlier said, it doesn't just end in speaking with them. We are looking forward to finding out their passions, what they're passionate about, what their interest would be. And we are also making provisions for skill acquisition programs for them to have this sense of economic independence. Because sometimes when you see a man aggressive, it's because he cannot meet the immediate needs around him. Yeah. So he tends to be aggressive. The religious book says that a man who cannot provide for his house is worse than an infidel. So that thing gets to a lot of men, even the young ones around, it gets to them a lot. So having these skill acquisition programs that would give them this economic independence and sense of belonging, it's also one of the ways we wish to achieve.
So let me add to that.
Okay.
We hope to carry out proper monitoring and evaluation where we bring within us. We have amongst us in our teams in various locations, counselors, child counselors. We have mentors. Every man in Tapa is primarily a mentor to a boy child, such that even if the boy child doesn't have anybody in the family he could talk to, he could reach out to a Tapa volunteer, and then who is a man, and share his problems, and then he's rich. But then we have monitoring evaluation. When it is not enough to just go to a location, a community to execute a project, we have follow-up strategies where we can check. This is where we met you when we came, and how far have you gone? The school that we put you in, are you still going? Are you learning the skills? How far have you been able to implement these skills? Because if we do not follow up intensively and intentionally, they will still go back to where they were before, and our efforts would have been impeded on. So that monitoring and evaluation is what we're intentional about, particularly when it comes to street boys.
Wow. Okay. So now let's talk about the D-Day. May
International
16th,
Day of the Boy Child.
How do you intend to mark that day?
Okay, we have several activities lined up. He's mentioned some. We have symposia in different states, if not almost 80% of the states in Nigeria. It will be happening at the same time, on the same day, probably at different times. We have conversations on radio, on TV. We'll have a virtual conversation which will happen on our social media handle. If you check on us, the Adams Project Africa, on the May 16th by 4 o'clock in the evening. We should bring ourselves, parents, teachers, guardians, even some boys who are on Facebook. That will be a time, an opportunity for you to turn on your Facebook and then have your boy child seated on your Facebook profile to listen to people talk with him. And it will be good for him to hear that people will actually care for him. So for us, we have to go to schools. We organize Vox Pop for street children, where we go to the street. Nobody goes to these children to talk with them. Nobody cares to ask them, why are you here? How did you get here? Some of them were labeled witches, thieves, and they left home. That is why they are there. We hope to get their statistics, get their data, and then talk with them, bring in counselors, see how we can give them skills acquisition platforms, and then see how we can take them off the streets, give them a shelter, put them in schools and in homes. So we're doing so much this year. On the May 16th, the 16th is the primary day. Some of our activities will happen before the day, like the Vox Pop, which will be aired on many media platforms on the 16th, and then some will happen after the 16th. For us, the 16th is just an international day that we have to mark, but the work is an everyday activity.
It's a continuous, yes.
Okay, so there's no particular venue for some of the symposium you're talking about?
Most of the symposium will happen in schools.
Okay, in schools.
In
Different
schools, public
yes.
schools, in Nasarawa, in Kaduna, here in Abuja, in Uyo, plenty places.
Okay. So now, before we go, there is an assertion, like we were saying, that whatever becomes of a man, a lot of people have said that it's a function of how he has been raised, including wife battering or wife abuse. How true is this, and what can be done to a boy coming up to avoid this?
Absolutely, that is true. Nobody just wakes up to become. He must have learned and picked some pieces of information and behavior from when he was small.
Okay.
He must have seen someone hit a woman. He must have seen his father talk down on his mother. He must have seen somebody in the bus, public transport, talk down on a woman. He must have seen people do these things, and he felt it was normal. And because nobody cautioned the person who did that thing, he felt, okay, it's a normal thing to do. And when he grows up, he's in school, he sees maybe another man trying to draw a seat for a lady or open the door for a lady. He feels, what are you doing? And he grows up not having empathy. He feels it's a man's world, because the society has sold this notion to him, you can live anyhow. Yeah. So whoever a man is as a man can be traceable to how he was as a boy. How can we correct that? That is why we're talking about the boy child today. I still believe that, okay, let's assume that we have lost the crop of men that we have, even though something can still be done for men who are open-minded, open to learning, open to adjusting. For the boy child, for us to avert wife battery tomorrow, for us to avert marital domestic violence, all these violence issues, we have to nurture the boy child the same way we nurture women to become better wives. We have to nurture the boy child to become better husband, because it's usually said the boy is the father of the man.
Mm.
It is the boy that gives birth to the
Yeah,
man tomorrow.
yeah,
So we have
yeah.
to be intentional in his upbringing.
Okay. So in a short time, we're expecting impact of this project,
Absolutely.
having responsible men in our society, people who are living up to expectation, and you being a man among them, the Adams project. Final word, you're going to appreciate them for us.
Yes,
And then
I
we
will.
close the chapter.
I will. Before I do that,
Yeah.
I would want to put a word out there that the society, the larger community, has to create a platform that welcomes or that shows the boy child that yes, we are ready for you and we are ready to listen to your problems. We are ready to help you pass through these things.
Okay.
So like you asked me,
Yeah.
and
on
like
our behalf.
I was singing it like a song all before now. I really want to appreciate all the female members of our team nationwide and even in
I appreciate too.
other countries, because it's a thing of joy to not see us as a competition anymore.
Yeah.
And also looking forward to giving us that voice that we have so lacked over time. So I really appreciate the women, and I also appreciate our progenitor for bringing forth this idea, because it is a much needed idea that needs to sink into the minds of people in the society.
All right. Barrister Mary Umana, the International Administrator and Curator of the Adams Project. You're welcome.
Thank you so much,
And
sir.
Edem, ubong, Team Lead, Mobilization and Planning. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And that's where we draw the curtain for our discussion today. I think we'll have more of you some other time.
Anytime, hopefully, we'll be here.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you for
I am
having us.
Idajo Aja. Thanks for being with us.